Hi, Meg here. Today I'm going to go over how to create a Facebook ad for your Facebook page. And I'll take you through all the different steps and explain it along the way. Real quick to start, why would you create a Facebook ad? Creating Facebook ads is basically a way that you can advertise your services. So it could be your Facebook page, it could be your website, it could be a download, an application. So it's just another way to make people aware and advertise any types of services that you do have. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I always recommend is when in doubt, click the Facebook in the top left corner. That'll take you to your news feed. Under your news feed here, you'll see Ads Manager. Go ahead and select that. And this is a dashboard where Facebook keeps track of all the campaigns and the ads that you are running. You'll have your notifications, your daily spend, so you can keep track of your budget, and then all your different statistics. You can export those reports and really pay attention to what's going on with those ads and campaigns that you've created. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over right here, select Create an Ad. Perfect. And then this prompts us to choose a Facebook destination or enter a URL. So for this tutorial, I'm going to show you, or I'm going to create an ad for my own Facebook page so we can take you through that process. What you would do if, say, you're marketing or wanting to advertise your website is just you enter in your URL right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select my page. And then Facebook automatically populates the options. And remember, when in doubt, you can always learn more. Facebook has really great tutorials that can take you through as well. Okay, so what would you like to do for this ad or for this tutorial today? We are going to get more page likes. I will cover the promote page posts and the advanced options in other tutorials, so stay tuned for those. Perfect. Scroll down, and then this is where our ad and the ad magic takes place. So you're able to enter different text for your headline. So you could say something about Media Maven. Let's see. Now, one thing that you want to do is you want to really have a punchy headline. So you do have a finite amount of characters. I'll tell you right here, 25. And so your headline is going to be what shows up right here. Okay, so that's going to be your opportunity to grab people's attention. And then the text here, so you have 90 characters. So again, you have limited real estate to really create a punchy, poignant either offer or reason why people should go to your page. Always keep in mind what your goal is. Okay, so is your goal for them to like your page? Is your goal for them to download something off your page? Always keep that end game in mind. A lot of us just create an ad and hope for the best, and that isn't the most effective way. So for the headline, we could say, you know, Meg. We'll just say Meg the Media. We won't be. I won't be too creative today. So we say Meg the Media Maven, and then text say, like my page for killer tips on how to optimize your Facebook page. Okay, so again, not the most creative thing, but a couple points. So here we're clear on basically the page that they're going to. So we could say make the media Facebook page. Maybe we'll just say make the media Maven. For the text, like my page for killer tips on how to optimize your Facebook page. So we have a bit of a call to action here, like my page, and what they're going to get out of the relationship. So they are going to get tips on how to optimize their Facebook page. Okay. You have an option here for the landing view, and this is really important. So if you're perhaps running a contest on Facebook, or you have a specific landing page within your Facebook page, this is where you're going to select that. Sending people to your timeline isn't always the best way because they get lost. So if you have a welcome landing page, select that landing page. If you want to send them to, you know, your step-by-step social media tips and tricks for them to sign up, then go ahead and do that. And that's what we're going to do in this case. So basically, what's going to happen is when they click on the ad that shows up on the right-hand side of their Facebook page, they're going to be taken automatically to my landing page with the step-by-step social media tips and tricks. Okay, they're not going to be taken to my timeline. Here you have an option to upload an image, and we all know how important images are. So make sure you find one that is colorful, it's bright, it's punchy, it sticks out, And what I always recommend is going through your own Facebook feed and looking at the ads on the right and seeing what people are doing. So what ads really grab your attention, what ads don't, what's working for you. And then as you create ads and you run campaigns, you will be able to start to see, according to your demographic, what is more successful. So for all intents and purposes, we're just going to keep my mug in this one. Please be really aware that the sizing is really small. So we have 100 pixels by 72 pixels. Okay, so when you do select an image, you have to make sure that once you resize it to that, it's still going to stick out. And again, for resizing, I always recommend picmonkey.com, PICMONKEY.com. Best web-based photo editing suite out there. Okay. Perfect. So here's our bit of a preview. Make the Media Maven, like my page, and then the picture here. So this is relatively new for Facebook ads, and it's sponsored stories. And so we'll take it right here, or take a look to the right here. And I bet you can recollect looking in your Facebook feed and seeing exactly these posts. If you haven't, you will now know what I'm talking about. So basically, you will see that so-and-so has liked Meg the Media Maven. Okay, so you're scrolling down your newsfeed, you're seeing your cat pictures and your updates, etc. And then all of a sudden you see one of your friends has liked this page. And so that is what a sponsored story, when you create an ad, that's what it does. And here you can select to show the stories about people liking your page. So one thing to really notice is that, we're not going to go over that, but one thing to really be aware of with sponsored stories is that they're expensive. So, and we'll go over that once we get into the pricing. So be aware of that. You don't need to have these sponsored stories. It all depends on your ad. It all depends on your budget. It will take up your budget. So say you set $50 for this ad and you keep the sponsored stories, it's going to eat up that $50 very quickly, but it might be really successful. You know, you might get a lot more click-throughs because you have that social proof. For it to show up in someone's timeline, typically now you've built that trust and that rapport, and you have more of that referral trust thing going on. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're going to scroll down, and now we're going to choose our audience for the ad. So basically, you can specify your location and the location of the people that you want to target. If you're getting people to like your Facebook page and you're not really a brick and mortar company, go crazy. Like, you know, don't limit yourself just to Canada. Don't limit yourself just to the United States. Like, see maybe the most random people in Ireland will resonate with your message. So play around with it. I feel that people don't go big enough when they're choosing their audience, because the bigger you go, then you'll be able to kind of segment it from there. You start too little and you're really restricting the potential and the possibilities. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to target Canada and the United States. And always on the right here, Facebook's going to auto-populate your audience. So as it stands, with all the specifications for my audience and for this ad, I'm reaching 182 and some million people. And a lot of us would be like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. Okay, that's a lot of people, and it's really quite watered down. So we want to try to kind of get that number a bit more targeted. And I know it kind of doesn't make sense with what I said earlier, but bear with me. So for the age, Facebook Facebook does approve every ad we create. So if you're creating an ad for anyone under 18, it's going to take extra long for that approval to come through. So typically what I do is, based of course on what the ad is, I typically keep it at 18. I don't really have any material or anything on my Facebook page that I believe would really appeal, and my demographic isn't really under 18. So, but if you're promoting maybe a youth book and stuff, then you can be really aware of targeting 13, 14 and the preteen crowd. But for this ad, I'm going to go ahead and select 21. Okay, I'm going to keep the gender for both. And here you can add precise interests. So basically, you'll target your audience based on what they've listed as an interest in their timeline. Okay, so you can do cats, I don't know, climbing trees, bungee jumping, etc. So, and then once you enter that in, I wonder if people do, yeah, people do have bungee jumping. Okay, so type in bungee jumping. Here we go. My audience is 59,780 people. Might be an interesting thing to target if it kind of makes sense. So maybe I'm going to now target bungee jumping, bungee jumping small business owners looking for social media. So just kind of gets you thinking about your audience, who's on Facebook, and who you could potentially target. I'm going to take that out for now. And here you have your broad categories. So basically you're able to reach groups of people who share similar interests and traits. So you know, DIY, food and dining, gardening, etc. So you can really kind of have fun with that, go through these different interests and check them off and see. So maybe people that are engaged for 1 year, then this is your audience. So again, depending on what your business is, you will choose these specific categories. Okay, I'm going to leave that blank. Scroll down. This is where you're able to facilitate your connections and target connections. So perhaps I want to only target people that are connected to Meg the Media Maven. So maybe I'm running a special and it's for people that already like my page, and that kind of doesn't make sense. But anyway, that's where you're going to enter that information in. Okay. You're also able to do anyone, which again, depending on your goals, would work really well. And then here you can target only people not connected to Meg the Media Maven. So here I really want to grow my page. I don't want to target anyone who's already liked my page because that's a waste of money. And that's what you're going to select. Okay. None of that's really true, but just as an example. Friends of connection. So here I'm able to narrow down my audience depending on the people who are already connected to my page or app. So I can piggyback on that influence and piggyback and create that social proof for people that, oh, hey, so-and-so, my buddy really likes Meg the Media Maven. I'm going to check her out. Okay. Whew. All right. Sticking with me. Here we have our advanced targeting options. So you can specify people's interests. So maybe you want to target people who are only interested in men, only interested in women. Here you can target specific relationship statuses. So perhaps, you run a wedding dress boutique or something and you want to target people that are engaged. You're able to do that there as well. Here you have a language option, an education, and a workplace. Okay, so you can really get granular and really detailed with your advertising. It's kind of fun. Okay, so now here we talk a bit about money and the campaign itself. So one thing I recommend, so there's a difference between a campaign and an ad. So an ad is what we're creating right now, right? So ad is like Meg's page for killer tips on optimizing your Facebook profile. What my campaign is basically all the ads that I'm running for the goal of getting more people to like my page. So be really specific on what you call your campaign because you're going to be running multiple campaigns. Maybe now after this campaign, I'm going to run a campaign to drive traffic to my website. Okay, so I'm going to say Meg the Media Maven, MMM, Facebook likes. Okay, so I know that this is my Facebook likes campaign where I'm trying to drum up more likes. And then I'm going to put this is just for me, it's up to you on how you date it. And then this is where I set my campaign budget. So you can set it for per day or you can do a lifetime budget, whatever works best for you. So I'm going to do a lifetime budget and I'm going to do a lifetime budget of $50. Okay. Here I'm able to dictate when I run this campaign. So this is really great for maybe a holiday or you're running a contest and you want the ad to shut off a day before or the day of or day after your contest. This is where you're going to enter that information in. Okay, so I'm just going to keep these dates. So I'm going to start on the 29th and then it's going to end March 1st. Okay, and this is where it gets a bit interesting. So here, your bid will be optimized to get more likes on your page. So what that means is Facebook does the bidding for you. They are going to dictate based on the other advertising and the other people advertising on Facebook. You are going to now bid for how much you're going to pay for that ad to show up. Okay, so for example, mortgage companies. There's a lot of people advertising mortgage companies or mortgage tools. So most likely your bid to show what you're bidding for your ad to show up is probably going to be 90 cents. Okay, and right now we're talking about impressions. So every time it shows up, then you're going to pay 90 cents. Okay, that type of stuff. So right now we are paying and we're charged every time someone sees our ad or sponsored story. Okay, so and that means, so CPM stands for cost per 1,000 impressions. So that means you're paying when people see your ad. You're not paying for when they click on it. You're not paying for if they like it. All you're paying is for when it shows up on a person's newsfeed. Okay, that is one option that you can do when creating an ad. The next option is CPC, so that stands for cost per click. So now here you're paying for click. You're charged every time someone clicks on your ad or your sponsored story. Okay, so Facebook's default is the cost per impression. You're also able to do the cost per click. Now, which way do you go? It depends on what your ad is. There's so many different variables. Cost per click is generally going to be cheaper because you're only paying for that action that a person is taking. Cost per impression is going to also, let you see basically how successful your ad is doing as well when it shows up and if people are clicking through. So I can discuss that in another video. For this one, I'm going to stick with the cost per impression. It's kind of Facebook's default. It seems to work really well for a lot of people. But after you run a series of ads, definitely try the cost per click as well and see what's working. See which ads are more successful. Run different campaigns. Do a test. And what it comes down to for Facebook ads and their success is the testing. So what works on your demographic? What images work? What keywords work? And just basically you got to monitor it, test it, rerun it, and kind of have fun with it that way. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and you can review your ad. I always just place order because you can edit it at a later time. Okay, so right now Facebook is placing my order for me. All right. Ad has been created. So it's going to take me to my dashboard. And here I can see all the good stuff that's happening with it. Like I said, Facebook approves every ad going through. So right now it is going to be pending, hence this little clock saying pending review. Okay, so starting at the top here, I can see my campaign that I ran. I called it Meg the Media Mavens Facebook Likes, January 2013. I can see the status of it, I see my budget, and I see my duration. Okay. Once this ad gets cooking, I can see my audience. Okay, so I can see the approximate number of people that have been reached through my sponsor story and my ad. I can see the number of individual people and the impressions. And then basically I can see the social reach. So people who saw my campaign or ad through the names of their friends. So when it shows up on their feed, etc. Okay. And then we can see the response to it. So how many people took an action on my ad? How many people clicked through? How many people did not? So that's kind of going to be an interesting number for you to see and for you to note after you created your ad. How successful was it? How did people act based on your ad? Okay. Here you're going to see these numbers again, which is really, really great. Your click-through rate, so basically that's the number of unique clicks you received divided by the number of times your ad was shown. So that's a really important metric for you to pay attention to, as is the amount of money you spent. Okay, so don't go too crazy on these. Okay, so here we're going to see that Facebook, okay, so this is the ad that we created. Okay, so like my page for killer tips. This is my ad. We typed in all this information. It targets 151 million people. This is the performance, the click-through rate, etc. Okay, scroll down. This is a sponsored story that Facebook created for me. So it's gonna automatically populate this. So it's gonna show up in people's walls like I explained earlier, etc. Here you can see its performance as well. Like I said, once the ad has been approved, pay a lot of attention to the price. Okay, so once the ad has been approved, Facebook's gonna do the bidding for you. And here you're going to have a magical number that's 51 cents, 91 cents, $5, whatever, depending on your ad. So basically, you're going to be paying $5 per impression or 90 cents per impression. So based on your budget, you're going to eat through that really quickly or not. So it's going to be interesting for you to see. Sponsored stories always are, like, I haven't seen a sponsored story under $1. So just pay really close attention to how successful that click-through is, and maybe it's worth $1. Maybe every impression for you is worth $1. So you just have to kind of get that justification in your mind. Okay, we're going to close this up. And let's see. So say you're kind of rolling along. You're like, yeah, these ads are working really well, and I'm feeling really good. I'm getting a whole bunch of more likes to my Facebook page. Go ahead and create another ad. So I'm going to try, I'm like, okay, I want to keep it under the same campaign. I want to increase my Facebook likes, but my headline kind of sucks. So I want it to be really super punchy, and I want to try different keywords. And when I say social media or Facebook, my bidding is super high, and I don't want to pay $5 an impression. So try something different. Play with the different keywords. Try a different picture. Send people to a different location on your Facebook page. Maybe your timeline isn't converting. So go ahead and recreate it. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to show you a really important thing that you want to do is here, once you're ready to create your ad, use existing campaign. Okay, so I just created a second ad to drive traffic, to drive likes to my Facebook page. I want that to fall under my Facebook likes campaign, and I want it to fall under the same budget. So you could have 50 ads running under the same campaign with the same campaign budget, and say one ad is killing it. It's converting, and you're feeling really good about the bidding price, and your other ad sucks. That's good. Now you know which ones work. You can create more ads under the same campaign and under the same budget instead of creating a whole different campaign, a whole different budget, and then now tracking it and monitoring it is a nightmare. Okay, so hope that kind of makes sense. So again, I'm going to go back. So when in doubt, click on the Facebook on the left, leave this page, and then what you're going to do here is you're going to head back to Ads Manager. And again, this is your dashboard for monitoring all your ads, what's going on with them, and a snapshot of your start date, your end date, your budget, your remaining, and how much you've spent. Okay, really, really important. For billing, don't worry, Facebook will take you automatically through all that after you set up an ad, because they're not going to let you, run an ad without having some sort of billing information. What I love is that you can link it to a PayPal. You don't need a credit card. Okay, you can use a credit card. I love linking it to PayPal. It makes me feel like there's kind of more checks and balances in this whole process. Okie dokie. So hopefully that all made sense and didn't, make you never want to create a Facebook ad. Let me know if you have any questions. Please give it a try. It's super, super effective in driving traffic to your website, in creating offers, and in getting more likes to your Facebook page, which we all know really how important that is. So good luck.